Back with you tonight, John in Focus, and thank you for staying on. We begin now this hour with, of course, looking back at the first day of the Judicial Service Commission interviews, which has now wrapped up for the day after an intense grilling of judges over their behavior and capacity. The Commission today interviewed 6 judges applying for 5 vacancies at the Supreme Court of Appeal, and there were some controversies there as well, with judges called to explain their judgments and behavior. Govan Whittles has been following today's proceedings and joins us live now. Govan, let's begin here with the controversy. What did Judge Piet Koen say about the former Chief Justice Mogoeng, calling him rude and discourteous?
Well, he wasn't happy with that. In fact, he said he was gutted. And this, of course, formed part of his interview here at the JSC, where the interviews have just wrapped up after a long session. Judge Piet Koen took some time to respond to that criticism leveled against him during the April interviews, where former Chief Justice Mogoeng had said that he was rude and discourteous during a discussion on cost-cutting measures in the judiciary. It was the first time that we heard from Judge Koen since those comments were made. He says that it's kept him up at night, and there were some comments from the Deputy Chief Justice Mandisa Maya as well, saying that they didn't agree with the comments of the former Chief Justice Mogoeng. But let's take a listen to what Judge Piet Koen had to say and how he felt about those comments made by the former Chief Justice.
I was gutted by what was said. If litigants or people in the legal profession Google my name, they come up with that interview and the lashing that I received. That is going to be a historical fact that's going to remain with me for the rest of my life. But we must move on. I don't want to harp back on it. I think there are more important things. I see my role still as making a contribution to the judiciary, to jurisprudence in this country, hopefully, and I don't want to be sidetracked by what happened. It's behind me. So many people, when I walked out of that venue, my phone was ringing non-stop, and judges from the Constitutional Court to the Supreme Court of Appeal to other provinces were all phoning me and saying, "But what is he talking about? We know you." And practitioners were saying, "You must sue for defamation." Where's that going to get us? That's been my attitude since then. I don't think that will be in the interest of the judiciary. But please, I don't really want to dwell on it anymore. It's a very, very unpleasant episode in my life.
Now, Govan, the question of the transformation of the judiciary via the gender parity question was always going to be one that would come up in these interviews. How did the JSE deal with that question this time around?
Well, they didn't specifically include it in the criteria for the selection of the judges for these vacancies at the Supreme Court of Appeal. Although some announcement was expected around the criteria in the morning after that closed session meeting, no announcement was forthcoming. But you could see that they did consistently ask the judges about this. Not only the 2 female judges, Judge Gwele and Judge Daisy Molefe, but also the other men that were interviewed here. And with regards to Judge Gwele, she had pointed out that she's identified patriarchy, which still lingers within the judiciary. And she's obviously said that she has a few ideas on how they can address this. She mentioned the work that she's done in mentoring young women, particularly black women as well, to get into the legal profession and then guiding them as they progress through the stages. But these female judges weren't spared in the grilling by the JSC commissioners, particularly Judge Daisy Molefe, whose track record as a judge since 2013 was put under the microscope, and even her attendance at the Supreme Court of Appeal was questioned by the acting president of the Supreme Court of Appeal. But let's take a look at what Judge Gwele had to say about patriarchy and gender parity and how that relates to the judiciary.
Patriarchy, in my own view, I think it's still an issue that inhibits the fast transformation of the judiciary, because if you look at the judiciary, the leadership is still composed of a lot of men. But it is not only that. Remember, when we talk about transformation, we talk about the issue of even transforming not only the numbers, or we transform the mindset of our male counterparts, mindset of the leadership in the judiciary. So I think sometimes that is where maybe the problem is. There's still a lot that needs to be done in as far as transformation of the mindset is concerned.
Right, Govan Whittles, much appreciated. Thanks for coming on. Of course, that's where we leave it for tonight. And it's a wrap, I believe, of those processes there until tomorrow. That's our Govan Whittles there live for us at the Judicial Service Commission interviews currently taking place in Midrand now.